wherever you are. This is Greg Jacobs here on behalf of Michael Sabatini. I'd like to go ahead and welcome you to the first official SkyBuilders training webinar. Okay, I saw that there's a lot of questions there in the box already and some essays. We're not going to read your essays just yet. I'm sorry if we were not able to get to them, but we have a very fast-paced webinar. Before we get started, I want to make sure everybody can hear me okay and the sound is okay. You can see my screen and all that. To do that, why don't you guys just go ahead and type into the question box what country you're going ahead and listening from, or what city you're listening from, so I can get an idea of what's going on. Okay, cool. A lot of the U.S. here, some Australia, Singapore, Canada, London. Oh, we got somebody from London in Olympic land. I think the Olympics started today or yesterday or something, and someone was out there watching the bicycling on the TV. Okay, very cool. Okay, now originally this webinar was we didn't really plan very well. Originally we thought that we could just jump into some of the advanced stuff in terms of advanced monetization techniques. And then we realized after doing some polling of a lot of our users is a lot of people are more so just struggling to even know what's going on. So what we've done is we've kind of expanded our training cycle for this, where the first few training is going to get started how to use the software and basic issues, and then a little bit further down the line, maybe 2-3 weeks from now, we're going to get into some more advanced ninja stuff. So I mean, we are really do got to lay the foundations first before we do go and get into some of the more advanced stuff, and I hope that's okay. Okay. Now the structure of this webinar is, and I just want to let you guys know, because I see people randomly typing essays into the question box. Don't do that right now. They're just going to be lost. Okay. There'll be a time for that. The structure of the webinar. The structure of the webinar is going to be the first thing is I'm going to go ahead and turn over. So don't ask your questions right now. It's just going to distract us. Okay. We'll get to your questions later. Okay. The structure of the webinar is we're going to be going to be going over some of the most common issues that we found after polling the support desk and polling new users that you guys are experiencing. And Michael Sabatini is going to be going through those. He's going to be going things like ways to go get the correct image up there. It sounds like child's play stuff to some, but it's actually really hard. People getting the right image and the image size, the image crop. And we're going to go into Twitter and Facebook and that sort of stuff. And then what we've done is we've compiled a list of questions from the webinar sign-up page. So if you asked a question on the webinar sign-up page, we've compiled some of the questions that are going to be kind of most simple to answer. People's specific questions we're not going to answer, because we're trying to answer questions that are generally geared to everybody. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and do a general Q&A. Again, this won't be for specifics, but it'll be for general questions that can be answered for everybody. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and introduce you to our new forum, which we've just opened, and it's going to be, and hopefully with the user-to-user support forum, a lot of these questions get asked over and over again. We can create a repository where users can go ahead and help users. Okay. So that being said, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Michael Sabatini, who has kind of a repository of questions that he's prepared and a few little walkthroughs for him to go do. And then after he's done with those, we'll go ahead and start answering some of your specific questions. So I recommend you listen to what he says. Even if you think you know it all, you're probably going to learn something. And that is all. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn it over to Michael, and we'll go ahead and do that. Hey, Michael, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Can everybody hear me well?
Yes.
Type into the box if you can, hopefully.
Okay, Michael, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over the screen. I'm going to turn over the screen sharing to you right now. So can I go ahead and show your screen?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. Okay, so there should be a little button there that says you can show your screen.
Yes, lovely. So I have two screens, guys. I want to make sure that everybody's seeing the correct one, which is basically the SkyBuilder cloud.
Yeah, it looks like the SkyBuilder cloud to me. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself and just let you go at it, Michael. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Well, I'm really excited to be on the call with everybody today. I've been working on this for a long time with Greg, and we've turned it over to you guys, and we've heard a lot of really good feedback on what you guys have liked about the software and some areas that have been a little bit more difficult for you. So, Greg and I have been working on this software for a while, so we're a little bit too familiar with it. If anything, it's hard for us to take our mind off and realize where things could be a little bit tricky for people. So, as I've been helping people with support, I realized there's a couple of things that have come through consistently that we could hopefully clarify for you guys. And a lot of things that you've asked us for that we didn't originally have in the software that we've already gone ahead and added in the last few weeks. And hopefully we'll go ahead and add a few more in the next couple of weeks. So what I wanted to do today for you guys is just to do kind of a quick walkthrough, build a quick sample app for you as well, answering some of these questions along the way. So hopefully that'll be helpful. A lot of the stuff is what we've seen in support, so I'm hoping that's going to help you with everything today. So I'll go ahead and get started. If you have additional questions, go ahead and put them in the box. Greg will take a look and we'll try to answer them afterwards as well as some of the questions that you guys give us before. So I'm very happy about that. So as Greg said, the Olympics started yesterday. I watched a little bit of the preview and I was thinking about new app ideas, new exciting things for us to put in. And a lot of you guys have written us before about where do I get celebrity images and things like that for your niches. And I want to say, it's true that Greg did do a Rihanna demo earlier for us, but if you really want to win in terms of niches and really build your app portfolio, you don't really want to try to copy exactly what other people are doing. I would try to look at trends. I would try to look at things that are going on around you, and also things that you really have passion about to jump to. So I was watching the Olympics last night. I saw a lot of the flag bearers. What sports were they in? Interestingly, a lot of people in archery. So I thought about archery a little bit. I'm like, hey, that would be a good niche because the Hunger Games was around earlier in the year. A lot of interest in archery through that, and it's something that is not only topical at this moment, but it seems like it's going to be building through the next few weeks and few months a little bit more. So I thought it'd be a good niche to actually go ahead and do a little sample demo for everybody too. So I actually went ahead and prepared something, but I'll just keep this in the background. We'll go ahead and actually build a new app to make sure everything is fine. So I'll go ahead and get started. So, as you know, everybody's familiar with the dashboard by now. I'll just go ahead and press create a new app to get started. So my app here, let me pull up some of my notes if you guys don't mind. So, for this, since it's a sample, I'll just go ahead and call it archery. That's simple, but, I would do, archery in the Olympics or, Hunger Games archery. I wouldn't do something around the Hunger Games archery to go ahead and set my app. So, go ahead and get started. I've just put my sample title in here, sample description in here. So for images, I did find a few images earlier, but a couple of you guys have had a hard time finding some images. So I wanted to go ahead and kind of demo some of the process that would be helpful to do that as well. And I actually went ahead and put some of these images this morning. Two places that I love to check for images. Google Advanced Search Images. That's one of the first ones I typically go to. So I went ahead here, put archery in there. And then what I do is I go ahead to usage rights down here. I'll go ahead and search there, free to use, share commercially. That's typically the search that I like to do. And, there's a lot of good images. I like this one. I went ahead and pulled it off, but none of these were good enough for me to go with. So the next thing I did is actually I went to Flickr. I went to see what is on Flickr. So Flickr, a lot of people think, oh, there's usage rights issues on Flickr. You may not be able to find what you're looking for. Let me go ahead and do the search from the beginning. What you actually can do on Flickr is something called advanced image search, and that will give you things that have a usage rights. So you go in here, go ahead and press advanced search. So if you're not familiar, I'll go back to the home page. You could do a search, archery, and then here, advanced search. And under advanced search, if you come down here, there's something called Creative Commons. So Creative Commons is basically photos that have licensing that you can use. So go ahead and pick it, pick the one that says find content that you could use commercially. And as you can see, there's tons and tons of images here. There's 3,700 results. A lot of good stuff. One that I liked earlier today was this one. Went ahead and pulled it today. Here's the image. I thought this was a great image to use in an app. It's good for an icon, and it could also be good for an actual image. So I went ahead and saved this one earlier, guys. I pulled it into a program that I like to use called Snagit, which is a very easy program for different purposes. And then I just kind of cropped it both for here's the original photo. I cropped it once kind of larger for my splash page and then smaller for my icon. So these are some of the ways to do it. If you're still kind of unfamiliar and uncomfortable with photos, there's a couple other resources that you could use as well. There's a site called iStockPhoto that you could go ahead and purchase photos for just a few dollars that are really, really good quality typically. And you could also go on Fiverr and you could have somebody build custom splash pages for you. So if you're doing an app that's a little bit, you want to put a little bit more time in, if you're doing one for a business, that's the way that I would go. Spend a few dollars and then get a good image. So I realized, by the way, on Snagit, I just want to preview something for you guys that we're working on. Some people have had a hard time cutting up images and things like that. So we're actually building a cropper into SkyBuilder soon. So here's a demo of it. The program is not live yet, but I want to show you guys. So if you have an image soon, you'll be able to go into SkyBuilder, crop the image to the size that you want and lock it, and then you could use that image as well. So that's something cool that will hopefully help a few guys coming up. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll pick some of the photos that I built earlier. So here's one that I cut for the icon. I'll pick both platforms for now. And go ahead and put the archery title on here again. And by the way, I wanted to show you guys a few things here that we are really actively listening to you guys and building things that you've asked. First, some of you guys have told me that I'd like to have the option to put directions and email and things like that into my niche apps as well. So what did we do? Actually, about 2 days ago, we rolled this feature into SkyBuilder Cloud. So you could actually use this information right now as well. If you don't want it, you could just leave it alone. And the other thing, Greg and I were really, really happy and excited that we had a lot bigger international audience than we originally anticipated. So what we did is, we didn't realize that we had these buttons locked as, call, email. So we went ahead and actually changed these to allow you to put in whatever you need for your country. So, if I'm doing Spanish, I'll go ahead and put Yamar in the title. So I'm not going to actually do that right now because I don't want to add a call button in here, but just want to show you that as a sample. So I'll go ahead and pick my splash image that I cut earlier. And there we go. We'll go back. We'll see that that's saved all nicely. So thinking about some of the modules to put in here. Some of the things that I thought would be good for archery, obviously news because of everything that's coming up in the Olympics right now. Twitter accounts I've looked up, Twitter activity is also interesting to see. Facebook, YouTube, photo gallery, these would all be interesting ones. And just a demo push, I'll go ahead and add push so you guys could see it as well. I'll go ahead and add AdMob and Ever badge as well. So we'll save this. Now you'll notice that if you add push for iOS, this page will take a little minute for you to upload. And the reason for that is, I don't know if some of you guys try to add push in the first week or so. Now, Apple makes us jump through 1,000 hoops to go ahead and enable your apps, set up your apps, different things. A couple of you guys have seen that before. So a lot of people had a hard time setting up the iOS push notifications. And the difficulty for that is that Apple requires us to build new profiles for every app that has push. A couple of people, as I said, I had a hard time. So what we did in the last week, we worked really, really hard to go ahead and automate this system for you. So right now, we actually go ahead in the background, log into your account, build a new certificate for you, build two new profiles for you, and go ahead and set up push. Now, this takes a few minutes. So what I do if I'm building a new app and I want to put push in there, it's not a reason to put push in every app, but if I want to push it in there, I'll go ahead and start this up. As you start it up before, we'll go ahead and start up. I'll go ahead and build my other stuff and come back to it while this system is finished. So we'll go back. So for news, easy. I could just go ahead and put archery. This is an easy one. I don't think anybody's had a hard time with it yet. Photo gallery is something that I want to look at together. So a couple of people have had a hard time finding the right information in here. So I just wanted to make sure that the right way to do it. So you can go ahead and do photo searches. You might not get the best results from photo searches that you would get from finding some photos on Flickr itself. Something that you could do here, what I like to do is look at Flickr groups, actually. So we do a search for archery, for example. I see that there is a group here, archery group. That's going to be a lot better than some of the random photos that I'm going to get. What you could do is you could actually go ahead and take the URL of this page and put it into the site called ID Getter, which we've put into our training. All you do is you go ahead and type it in, and it gives you the ID that you need to use for SkyBuilder. Go ahead and put that in here. Make sure you change this into group. And there you go. We have some beautiful, beautiful archery photos in there. So I'll go ahead and add Twitter as well. So one thing I want to clarify for you guys, there's been a couple of questions about this on Twitter. Twitter has a native experience on your apps. However, we cannot replicate that exact native experience within the preview. And that's true with a lot of different things. What we want to do is we want to give you a lot of preview so you could go ahead and check different things. So actually, this is the wrong preview. This is the Twitter account, which I do have a site that I pulled up later. So World Archery. So you see if I pick that, this Twitter account does come in for everything. So these will look native on your devices when you go. On the preview, they're just a sample for you to see what's happening. And here, I'll add Twitter search as well. To clarify the difference between the two, Twitter account is, if I have an account and I want to list all my tweets from my account or from my business's accounts. Twitter search is to see what's going on in the world of archery. Now, this one will autofill fully on your app. Here, it will autofill as well, but you'll have to wait a few minutes for new things to come in. So for Facebook, that's another one that I want to look at together. Now, this has been a little bit of a confusion. We try to put some notes in here, so please go ahead and try to make sure to read those clearly. But what I've seen a lot is that people go ahead and put a full Facebook URL in there. So here's an archery page that I pulled up later on. Just want to preview. If you guys go ahead and put a full URL, it's not going to work. What you need to do for a full URL, if it has a number, all you need to put is the number. And you'll go ahead and get your information filled out. And if this page didn't have a number, some newer pages don't, you could just go ahead and basically put the name. So if this was archery, I would just go ahead and put archery at the last part of the name. This is, I took a few minutes and looked around on Flickr, and this was the more robust archery page. We'll save that and go back. And YouTube as well. Here's a YouTube account or keyword. I'll go ahead and take that out in archery. So I do want to let you guys know if I sound a little bit tired, actually. A few people had some issues with some specific phones with YouTube in the last day. So myself and the engineers have actually been working on this most of the night, and we actually just pushed a fix. So I'll go ahead and email a couple of you personally, and there shouldn't be any issues on Android on this anymore. Gladly, that's fixed. So AdMob is another one that I wanted to take a look together. There's been a couple of issues on AdMob, and I'll actually go ahead and I'll go ahead and do a full manual setup for you guys so you could see what's happening on AdMob. So what I did today is I actually went ahead and created a fully new account. Let's see, clean accounts. I'm going to go ahead and demo it for Google Play as well later on for AdMob, so you could see what's going on. Creating an AdMob ad, it's a little bit tricky, but it's very, very smooth once you kind of get going in the beginning of it. So this is a new account that I've set up today to go ahead and build something for you guys. So if I build my archery app, this is my first app that I want to go ahead and add an AdMob ad placement to. I'll just go ahead here, create a new campaign. Actually, sorry, it's not campaign. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and do site and apps. I want to add a new site. So this is an Android app that we're building, so we'll go ahead and pick Android. App name, we'll go ahead and call it Archery for now since we're demoing. You want to use the name that you're using for Google Play. So this one's been a little bit tricky for people. You know, a lot of people ask me, you know, I don't have my Android package URL before my app is published, and that is true. What you could actually do here is pretty easy. You could actually go ahead and put a placeholder until your app is in the store, and it's not going to affect your ad delivery. So we're going to put that, and then later on, we're going to come and change it. So this is sports, so I'll go ahead and put sports, archery. And these I'm never good at. So let's see. Hopefully we get through this one. Yep. So there we go, we're registered. So you'll see a notice here, it'll tell you to go ahead and grab your SDK. Just want to point out, we've incorporated all the SDKs that you need into SkyBuilder. So you don't need to do anything on this. It's a little bit scary, don't worry about it, just go to your apps. So you see, this is my new app on my new account, it's set up here. And what we want to do to grab the code now is we go ahead and hover over the new app, go to Manage Settings. And on Manage Settings, right up here, under Publisher ID, you'll have the ID that you need to use. So I'll go ahead and take that back, paste it in here. And setting up it for iOS is a very similar process. So I went ahead and did that earlier on another account. I grabbed the code. I'll go ahead and put that here and save it. So another option that you do have is mediation. A couple of people have asked me about that. Now, what I would say is mediation is a little bit tougher to start with. So for your first apps, I wouldn't bother with mediation. I would just put the publisher ID and then you could go with it. But I will do a quick demo of it so you could see. If you want to add mediation, you go to Add Network Mediation under Sites and Apps. On a new account, this might be a little bit more tricky, but let's see. I actually haven't done it on a new account for a little bit. You go ahead and put the name. Platform, we'll go ahead and pick Android. Ad size, pick the first banner. And leave the refresh rate as there is. I like to put a little bit lower rate so I get ads a little bit faster. So here you'll see that you'll get a listing of all the different networks that are available. So I do want to let you know that if you want to add these different networks, you do have to go and sign up for them specifically. They're not done for you through the system. And, you know, a lot of them have their own little weird requirements. The number of users you may have or different things that they may need for you. The listing of the ones that are supported are in our document. So here, what we want to do, since this one's going to run AdMob, we'll go ahead and put AdMob network. And that's easy. So since our publisher ID is added here, let's go ahead and save it. You want to make sure that that matches the app that you were putting. So if I go back in here into Add Network Mediation, I will see my placements. And I will have my mediation ID, which I could use instead. So again, you could use your AdMob publisher ID or your mediation ID here. Your mediation ID will include your publisher, so there's not a need for both. So let's check to see how our push setup is doing. Voila, you'll see that our push setup is now complete. You know, this system, you know, this was fast. I think a lot of you guys are on the call with us right now. You're not doing fast pushes, but you know, this could take about you know, between 7 to 20 minutes. So I would say leave this one alone. Go get a coffee. You come back afterwards. It should be all done for you. And on the Android side, you know, this is one reason that we all love Android. It's a little bit easier. All you do is you press it and it's done. We'll go ahead and we've all set it up in the background for you. So the last module that I want to cover here is Everbadge. Now, there's a little bit of confusion on Everbadge before. Sorry, it's, you know, as I said, you know, some of these things seem a little bit easier to Greg and I. A lot of folks were putting their full URLs in here. All you need to do for Everbadge is actually just go ahead, just put in your code. So this is my user ID. I'll go ahead and put it in. You could test with my user IDs if you want, guys. You know, Only problem is that the money is going to go to me and not to you on it. So I would prefer that you do tests with yours. So everything is set up. You go to continue. Let's see if I want to move anything around here. So maybe I want to put videos a little bit more forward. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So here's our app. This is the start of it. I think it's pretty good. Another feature that was requested from you guys, I want to show you that we've added. A lot of you said that you didn't want to have the header in there sometimes. So we went ahead and added the option to have no header, which I do think looks pretty clean. With this image, I would have probably pushed it up a little bit, but I just want to show you guys how this could be done quickly. Or you could have the option to have a button that always brings you back to home. So you can see that here, or I could go back to home. So I'm going to put no header on this one. Now, one thing I want to note about the preview for you guys, there will be some features such as directions, call, that are very specific to the phone and are not going to work in here when you're using them. So this is just a preview to make sure that things are looking okay for you before you go ahead and build an app. But really what you want to do is you want to build the app on your phone, preview it on your phone to make sure everything looks okay before you kind of go forward. And if I want to change the look of it, I'll go to Customize UI. Let's see what's a nice theme that we could pick for this. That's a good color. You know, that is a nice contrast to the sky, so I will go ahead and keep that theme. And oh, I don't think I saved it. Let me go back to make sure. There we go. Save and reload, and return to final preview. There we go. And then the only last step that we have is actually to go ahead and build the app. So you go ahead and get started. I'll press Android to get this one built, and you'll see that I'll come in a few minutes. So another thing that I wanted to show you guys, just so since there's been some questions, as I said, we've gone ahead and automated the push information because, you know, I know you guys will be building multiple apps, but the other thing that I do want to have you look at is, you know, there's a lot of folks that have had some issues setting up their Apple profile here. Couple of things that I want to cover with you, and then I'll give you kind of additional answers on it as well. If you want to go ahead and do this, when you set up your distribution certificate, you will see that there's a name next to the distribution certificate within iTunes. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that that name matches the developer name in here. And then these should verify. So if you try this, if you run into any issues after trying it a few times, you can go ahead and send us an email. We'll go ahead and help you with this. Don't worry about it. Don't get frustrated. It is a little bit tough, and it's something that Apple has made it a little bit tough for us, but it's not something that we can't help you get past. So let's refresh to see how our build is doing. So we'll see that our build is complete here, gladly. You know, it's at 3 minutes and actually took us a little bit faster to do so. So the other step that I want to show you guys, I'll go ahead and build a release build of this as well, just for a preview. So when you go to release build, you know that you need to add your developer name in here. Now, the best way that I would suggest to make sure there's no mistakes in here, go ahead and actually go to your developer page on Google Play. Here's a new account that I set up for you guys. You know, the name on this one is SkyBuilder. Now, these are case specific and they need to be exact. So go ahead and cut and paste that. I'll bring it back in here. And that build is in progress. If you put this name wrong, or if you try to upload a build in the preview section, it is going to fail. It's not going to allow you to complete. So please make sure that you've copy and pasted your name correctly and you're using the right version in there. And another thing that I want to make sure that to cover with you guys, I've heard some people have issues trying to preview the app on their PC or on their Mac. Now, these apps are native and specific to your devices. So we've built the final preview page, so you have an easy place to go ahead and demo if you want on your screen. You know, for some clients, you could actually do a screencast of this and send it as well if you want. Or I would say if you want to preview, you could either use Perfecta Mobile, which is the service that we use. They're not affiliated with us, but they're a service that we like. They actually give you 1 hour free, which is good for your first few demos. And then beyond that, go ahead and preview on your device. Now, another thing that's important here, I think, unfortunately, I don't have this on my computer, but I think some people have a service that goes ahead and auto opens the .apk files as a zip. So I want to let you guys know that these are not files that you need to open. All you need to do is download the file and email it to yourself, or I like to use Dropbox. With Dropbox, you could actually go ahead and put it on your phone directly. So I would right-click, save as, go directly to Dropbox. Very easy. And and now that's on my phone. I could go ahead and just open up Dropbox and get it out of there. We do have some specific information, and Dropbox is pretty easy to set up as well. So that app is ready for me to go set up on my phone here. Let me try to take a look to see if there's any other questions that I wanted to cover before I turn into Greg. Oh, cool. There's one more thing that I wanted to cover that some of you guys have asked me. So you've said, I want to go ahead and revise my app. What do I do? Is there anything I could do? So what you want to do is you want to go back to your dashboard. Go to the app that you created. So here's the one that we just created, Archery. So this is the one that I created for you guys earlier in case something messed up, but we see that everything went well on the new app as well. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and add a new version. When you add a new version, in the description here, you can change it for yourself. And when you go back to your dashboard, you will see that now you have 2 versions of the app. So when you want to go ahead and use, you just go ahead and revise, you go ahead and build a new version and send it. So one thing that I want to note with you guys is if you go ahead and build a version of an app and then build a second version and try to push that second version to the site, there might be some problems. So if you want to build a new app, if you're not happy with something, I would say go ahead and build a separate new app rather than building a V2 and trying to upload that V2 first. So I think that's all the questions that I wanted to cover, Greg, in terms of the file. So I want to make sure that's happy. Actually, let me go ahead and I'll try to upload that build that I built earlier into Google Play to show you that as well. That's the last step, and I will go ahead and turn it back to Greg. So this is the new account that I set up. Let me make sure that we have the correct app. So here's our new file. We saw that it built, so I'll go ahead and save it. I'll save it into webinar demo. And the way you want to get your application started is just log into your Google Play developer, upload application, and the first thing it's going to ask you to upload your APK. So go ahead and grab the release built APK that you built earlier. Press upload. Oh, let me check. I think because I built a second one through it, I'd have had a problem. Let me check my earlier one. I tried to upload this earlier, so it may have given me an issue with it. Actually, the reason that happened, guys, is that I went ahead and created a second version as I just showed you. Okay, we'll see that the first version that I created uploaded just fine. So you'll go ahead and save it. And once we have it in there, we'll go back into product details. So I took some screenshots on the device earlier today to go ahead and upload in here. Different devices have different ways to take screenshots. Some of the Samsung devices are a little bit easier. So I would recommend go ahead and taking a look, just do a Google search to see what's the best way to do it on your device. And so here's our picture, and you see that the ads also showed up on the one that I uploaded earlier. So I would say that if you don't have access to a Google device, you can go ahead and use an iOS screenshot, or you can even go ahead and use a screenshot from the version that you have on the web. Just make sure that you match the size quality in here. And the rest of the stuff in here should be self-explanatory. If you have questions on it, go ahead and send it to us, and I'll be happy to take a look and help you. This is a little bit too much, so I'm not going to go through this stuff specifically right now. But what you want to do is when you're happy with everything in here, you go ahead and save. It's not going to allow me to save right now because it'll need me to fill up a lot of information in here. And then you'll go ahead and activate your APK. So my APK is activated now. Once I save the stuff, I'll go ahead and able to publish my app in here. So that's it. I hope this stuff is all easy, and if there's some questions that you have on it, please go ahead and hit us up. I'll be able to help you with it. And I'll turn it back to Greg so we go through some questions.
Okay, very, very, very cool, Michael. We could just go ahead and leave the screen on your screen for now. And also, Michael, if you see in the little right-hand box, there's something called questions. I don't know if you could see them scrolling through there. Obviously, the big long paragraphs we're not going to be able, for specific questions we're not going to be able to answer. But for little quick questions, if you could just knock off any of those as I'm going along, go ahead and feel free to just interrupt me and go ahead and answer them. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Very, 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 very cool stuff. Okay. So what I want to go do is I want to go over some very frequently asked questions right now, and also some of the questions that you guys went and put in the question boxes earlier. Okay. The number one question that we've got in tons of times, I've actually answered this about 15 times, but nobody seems to listen to the answer. It's about celebrity images. Okay. And specifically like Rihanna apps or whatever. Okay. Our official statement and our official line, I want you guys to all listen to this, all 371 of you. Okay. Do not use celebrity images that you do not have the copyright to. Okay. That is our official recommendation. Okay. If you can go and figure out how to get copyrights for celebrity images, go ahead and do it. Okay. But Michael, could you just go do me a favor and just on a new tab, go to the Google Play Store right now?
Sure.
Go to Google Play and just go ahead and search for Rihanna. Okay, it's Rihanna. Okay.
I always have a hard time spelling Rihanna. Let's see.
Yeah, I always spell Rihanna wrong too.
Okay, there we go.
Just scroll down. Just scroll down here. How many apps are there?
Oh, I actually did spell. So these are all.
Oh, you did spell Rihanna wrong. Okay. Okay. So how many apps is it showing?
At least 1,000.
At least 1,000. Okay. So yeah. So guys, I just need to make this really, really clear, guys. Our official statement is: do not use images that you do not hold the copyright for. Okay, because that's our statement there, and do not go against that statement. However, if you want to see what the rest of the world is doing, just go ahead and search on the Android, and you can see there's over 1,000 apps here, and I can't say whether these people own the copyright to those images or not, and I can't say whether anybody cares or not. But I just want to let you know what our official statement is. So is that loud and clear, guys? Is that loud and clear? I need to make sure that we're all very, very clear. Okay. So thank you. Now you guys please stop asking me that question. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Don't ask me that question anymore. Our statement is: do not use images that you do not own copyright to. That's our very official statement. Okay. If you keep asking me, I'll keep giving you that answer. And if you want to know more, go search on the stores and see what people do. Okay. But I can't tell you what to do. You got to figure that one out for yourself. Okay. So let's go ahead and what I did is and one very, very interesting question, and I'll answer this question very, very clearly and straightforward. Is people are asking, what about the images that come through on the Flickr feed? Those are different things because they're being passed to you directly from the Flickr feed. If an image is on your splash screen or on your icon, that's one thing. If it's being passed to you dynamically via a feed, that's another thing, and that's okay. Go ahead and do anything you want, okay? Um, so what I want to do right now is I went ahead and have I had a few questions that I went and picked out from the questions that you guys you guys went and inputted on the webinar sign up form. I see other questions coming into the box right now. I'm not going to answer them because there's like 10 scrolling by every second. So just hold your questions there, guys. And let me go ahead and go through the questions that you guys actually submitted when you signed up for the webinar, so I can answer them in a methodical manner. Okay. So I'm not ignoring your question, guys. I just can't get to them all at once. Okay. So these are just a few interesting questions that I went and picked out for myself, and then a little bit later, Michael has some other questions that he's going to go through. Okay, and some of them seem pretty simple, but and there's a lot of them we've answered them already. But I think it's good to go through them again because people don't read the directions, and it's important that we go ahead and get this stuff out of the way. Okay. Someone's asking, how do I get my app to the top of the App Store in terms of downloads? Okay. Well, I think, there's obviously a lot of ways to go and, get your app ranked and get it in front of a lot of eyeballs. There's whole detailed marketing plans. It'll take you months to learn on how to do App Store SEO and out marketing and yada, 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 and et cetera. Okay. We tend not to bother with any of those. Okay. In terms of niche apps, the way that we generally use to get our apps ranked is we go and do long tail keyword research. So we're going and targeting long tail keywords that just a little bit of people are searching for. I mean, a lot of people are searching for, but has low competition. And the way that we do that is through using the Keyword Genesis software. Okay. So I hope that goes and makes sense. I hope that goes and makes sense to you. Okay. Craig's asking a very, very good question right here. Let me go ahead and answer that. Again, guys, we're not going to be answering your questions as they come in the question box just yet, just to let you know. So, I feel bad that you're asking them and nobody's answering them. So don't be offended. We'll get to them. Okay, we can ask them again later at the end. Okay. Craig's asking a fantastic question here from the sign up. What's the simplest way to go make my software payment back? He's asking, okay, Greg, I spent $147 on SkyBuilder per month. How am I going to make that money back? Okay. Well, obviously, you can go ahead and do the niche model, like Michael Sabatini has showed you. But if you need quick cash, you need cash today, what I recommend is you use the local business marketing model. Okay. What I recommend you do is go and follow our local business marketing plan. Follow the 4-hour cash balloon. It's in the training, and go ahead and get an appointment, create an app, show up, sell them the app. People ask, how much should we sell our apps for? Some people say $2,000 or $1,500, whatever. I don't recommend that. I recommend that after you know what you're doing. Okay. I'm assuming 90% of you aren't familiar with this market and you don't know what you're doing yet. If you don't know what you're doing, start with $500. Get some sales, get some confidence, start packaging services in and around it. And from there, start going ahead and from there, go ahead and start going ahead and go from there. Okay. Now that kind of dovetails into the question about approvals. People are asking about getting your apps approved in Android, getting your apps approved in Apple. Okay. Let me say this very, very loud and clear, and I'm going to ask for an affirmative that everybody hears what I'm saying to make sure that you're paying attention. I'm going to want all 300 and something of you to say, I understand. Okay. If you go and make a niche app and upload it to the Apple Store, you're going to get rejected. Does everybody understand that? Yes? You guys are very clear with that. Okay? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay? Now, in the same breath, I'll tell you that I have a lot of niche apps on the Apple Store myself. Okay? But in terms of being able to go and give you push button instructions, color by numbers, collect the dots, push the button, do this and that, and it'll get accepted. It doesn't exist yet for the Apple Store. To get niche apps accepted on the Apple Store, you have to be able to do you have to be able to think dynamically and go above and beyond our training. Okay, so what this means effectively is, do not expect at first to get any niche apps approved on the Apple Store. Don't even try. If you go ahead and try, you're going to get denied and you're going to be upset. So go ahead and try, but you're going to be upset. Okay. However, your niche apps or your niche apps, depending on what country you're coming from, will always get approved on the Google Play Store. So what I recommend is when you create a niche app, so like Mr. Sabatini's archery app, I recommend you go and do it on the Android store, and it's going to be fine. Okay. Now, the next loud and clear that I need you guys to all go understand very, very clearly is SMB or small business apps are generally going to get approved on the Apple Store. Does everybody understand that? Yes? Yes? Good? Okay. Now, sometimes it may take one revision round, but generally speaking, small business apps will get approved on the Apple Store. So what you want to do is when you create an SMB or a local business app, you put it, after it gets approved by your client and you get paid, you go ahead and submit it to both the Apple Store and to the Android Store. But if you create a niche app, what you want to do is you obviously only want to submit it to the Android Store until you find your winners and you know what you're going to be doing. Okay. Now, if you do submit an SMB app, a local business app, to the App Store and it does get rejected, and it does happen from time to time, don't get upset if it does. Our support desk is happy to go and help you and walk you through with it to help you go get it accepted. If you submit a niche app to the App Store and it gets rejected, just do something else. Okay. I mean, you can get it accepted, but it's above and beyond our scope for now. Okay. Now, on the same breath, we are actually adding things that are going to help your apps get accepted. Because what Apple wants when they go and accept apps, they want something called native features. So a native feature would be like a QR code reader, GPS coupons, and I think we have a few other things in the works, which Mr. Sabatini can go ahead and talk to us a little bit later. Okay, and also average acceptance time to the App Store, minimum 7 to 10 days. Okay, minimum 7 to 10 days. Now, if some of you bought SkyBuilder a week ago and you quickly created a niche app in like, in like 10 minutes and submitted it to the App Store, you're probably going to get your rejection notice back, in a few days. But just to go ahead and be aware of that. Okay.
Great. Can I add something here?
Yes, you can.
So just want to say, as I've been helping you guys look at your apps, not even in terms of acceptance, but try to help with different issues that you would have had, I have seen a lot more dentist apps and barefoot running apps and Rihanna apps that I'm comfortable with seeing in the system. Just not even as a matter of acceptance, but we want you guys to be able to profit from the system, and we want your apps to stand out. So making the same apps that you would have seen on the demo are not going to allow you to stand out and make money. So I would really go ahead and think about your niches, use Genesis and use your guts really to figure out what are the places that you can make a slight difference in the apps that you're putting on. And that's really what's going to draw the difference. We have people on the system that have made apps that have gotten more than 700 downloads in the first day. Some which were guides for games, some which were for really tangent sports that there was not much competition for. But there's a lot of room for success on there. But you just saw how many Rihanna apps there are. You go ahead and add another Rihanna app, it's going to be hard for yours to get noticed on there. So really take the time to think about the niches that you're putting on there. Going ahead and blasting kind of what you see 1,000 of is not really going to help too much.
Very, very, very true. Yeah, I mean, seriously, guys. Like, we looked at our logs, and there was almost like 300 Rihanna apps. I mean, I used that for an example, guys. It doesn't mean you're going to go out there and make it rich with a Rihanna app. You're probably not. If you could go ahead and create an app on a lesser known pop star, that might be something really, really good. But if you're going for Rihanna or for the Bieber or something, It's a little bit of a competition. I use that as an example, just because it's a pop star you all know. Okay. So I think that is there. Okay. Phil's saying we're doing too much talk and not enough answering questions. Hey Phil, this isn't a question and answer session yet, Phil. So thank you. We already told you about 8 times we're going to get to your questions later. So yeah. So I do read your questions. Okay. Yeah. So we have one person saying Phil's right. The other one's like, oh, be quiet, Phil. Okay. so there you go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue going through some of the stuff that we're going to go through. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and get to your questions, because we're not answering your questions yet, and we're going through some of the questions that we already went and picked out from your sign up. Okay. Let's go ahead and see some of the other questions here. We already talked about pricing your apps. Okay. Here's an interesting question from Woofling. Now, I'm actually going to have a completely separate webinar on this a little bit down the road, so I'm just going to kind of touch on this right now. But it's a question is, how do you get through this is regards to SMB apps, how do you get the initial icebreaker to show a demo to the right person, okay? Well, what I recommend when you're going and demoing your SMB apps is you start with the low-hanging fruit. So when you're just getting started out and you're not quite sure what you're doing yet, I wouldn't recommend going and cold calling people in the phone book. Okay, that's, if you're a good and natural salesperson and you know what to do, sure. But for out of the box training, I don't recommend that. I recommend that you go and grab what's called the low hanging fruit. So you go and think of small business owners that you already know, that you already interact with, who will go and give you 2 minutes of their time to talk to them. So, if you go to a barber or a hairdresser or a nail salon or any sort of those things, that's where you're going to go start with. If there's a restaurant that you normally go to, go ahead and start with that restaurant. If there's a doctor or a dentist that you visit, go ahead and start with that. Go ahead and start with that doctor and dentist. So, so people are worried about how to get the initial icebreaker. Don't worry about it. Start with the people who are already in your extended circle, and what that's going to do is that's going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to really get in there with little to no commitment. Okay, so I hope that goes and makes sense to you guys in terms of that. Okay, I'm seeing some questions here about what's the true potential of a push? What's the true potential of? What's the true potential of a push notification? Okay, a push notification is a very, very powerful thing, and we went through this a few times. In terms of a local business, it's a very, very powerful, because what you can do is it allows them instant access to their client base. Okay, and allowing instant access to their client base, what it means is, if I'm a local restaurant and 1,000 people have my app installed, what this means is, at any given moment, I can do a push notification to those 1,000 people, telling them about a special deal tonight at my restaurant, and having them go ahead and come in with that. Okay. In terms of a niche app, it gives you instant advertising power. So you can go in some of the demos. Not all of you may have seen these demos, but we'll go through this again in a later advanced training. In some of the demos, we show how to go and use CPA networks with push notifications. So you go and sign up for a CPA network, and in signing up for a CPA network, go and find like an email submit or a targeted offer to your niche, and you go ahead and use the push notification on there. Now, some people are asking about push notifications and their clients. People are saying obviously they're not going to allow their clients access to their SkyBuilder dashboard to do push notifications, and yeah, that obviously makes sense. Coming in August, I'm not quite sure how soon in August, but hopefully as soon as possible, we're going to have what's called available for you to go get is called a breakout dashboard. What the breakout dashboard is let's say you go ahead and sell an app to a local business client, and you don't want to go manage their push notifications for them. You want to just basically give them give them a login and let them do it all they want as their heart content. We're going to go and code up a breakout dashboard, and what that means is that client can go individually access those push notifications through that dashboard. We're not quite sure if we're going to be able to do it as a white label or not. It's something we're working on to see how feasible it is, but we are going to go ahead and try. So that is going to be the solution for your SMB clients and the breakout dashboard. Okay. Let me go ahead and see here. Somebody's asking about local businesses and how do local businesses get their clients to actually download the apps. Very, very simple. You'll see in our dashboard we have something called a QR code generator. What you're going to do as their local business marketing consultant is, in addition to selling them the app, you're going to go ahead and generate them a QR code and put that QR code on a sign. Okay, and then you're going to get that sign. You're going to put it next to the cash register, the checkout counter, or whatever, and then you're going to consult with them on a special giveaway they can do. So what you want to do is you want to get your local businesses giving away something for free in exchange for people to download their app. So if it's a bar, they could give away a free well drink if somebody downloads their app. If it's a dentist, give them a free toothbrush or something like that. So it wants to be, so you go and consult with them, you give them the sign, you say, anybody who downloads this app, we're going to go give you a free toothbrush or something, and that's how you go and get the install base. Okay. Let me go ahead and see here some other questions. Some people are asking about the AirPush service and when that's going to be available. We've actually been having some programming and integration issues with the AirPush, so hopefully it's going to be available soon. We're working on it every day. We're working with the AirPush programmers as well, and I think we have a new thing coming up. I'm not quite sure if it's installed or yet, called Start App, which is it basically installs adware, so you're getting paid per install. It's not for everybody, but you do make money per install if that's your thing. If you just want to go ahead and make money. You can go ahead and put Startup on there as well. Okay.
Also, the other interesting thing about Startup, which we do have in testing, so we'll be releasing it within the next few weeks, is it actually allows you to share the search revenue from a user as well. So you could go ahead and redirect their searches on their device and basically take a chunk, which is going to be fantastic. I have been testing that with our team. It's working pretty well. We want to make sure, guys, that these things are working 100% before we roll them out to you. So you'll see that one soon as well.
Yeah, very, 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 very cool. So we are going ahead and asking it. Now, Michael, I have a list of questions here that we went and picked out for you guys to go. By the way, guys, I need to remind you, I see all your questions in the box. We're not answering them right now. So just so you don't feel like you're being ignored. We will get to Q&A down at the end of the call. Okay, just to let you know, because I still see like 10 questions coming through a second, and we obviously can't answer them all right now. So just let us go through our prearranged questions, and then we'll get to your questions. Okay. I'm sorry to see all these great questions we're not able to answer right away. Okay. Michael, do you want me to just read off the questions that you went and picked out for yourself on the spreadsheet?
Sure. Go ahead. We'll go ahead and start.
Okay. So the first question is
use SkyBuilder to convert a website. I don't know what that means. Maybe you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, so I think what the person was asking is, I'm assuming they already have a mobile website that they want to go ahead and convert into an app. So this is something that we're looking at. It's something that we're considering. It's I'm happy to talk with you. It's a little bit higher than what we've done for most of our normal consumers. So it's a feature that we want to go ahead and add within the next few months. It's not something that's going to be immediate, but I do like the feature as well. We'll go ahead and hopefully add that soon.
Okay. Very, very, very cool. The next question from Iceman is, how do we keep motivated during the learning curve when we know nothing about what's going on? Well, what's the best way to see progress and motivation?
Iceman, I say go ahead and build. The app builder is fun. It's easy. You could get your apps on Google Play the next day. You'll be getting feedback. we had a couple of people that, that have written me, they put their apps up, and then the first day they had 100 downloads, and that really is going to motivate you. That's going to push you to go ahead and build the next thing. So go ahead and think about the places that you're passionate, the places that you could add a little bit of value, and go ahead and put a bunch of apps on Google Play to go ahead and see where you're comfortable. That's going to allow you to learn the system. That's going to allow you to hear back from your consumers, and you're going to be super motivated to go buy when you see some money coming through on those as well.
Okay.
But another thing I want to add on that is, this is partially it's a numbers game and partially it's a winners game. So, you're going to put a bunch of apps. It's possible that, 2 out of 10 are going to do really well for you, and the other ones are going to just do a few downloads. But that's the beauty of the system, and that's why you have unlimited apps. You go ahead and try many, many different ones and see which ones are good. And the ones that work well for you, you go ahead and nurture. You could build the next version. You could hire maybe a designer to make the graphics better. You could go ahead and put niche content, your own stuff in there, and really grow that audience and, push monetization on those heavily. So that's the way that I would go about it.
Okay. Okay, very, very, very cool stuff. There's a next question. I don't quite know what it means, but it's kind of a paraphrased one. Maybe you know a little bit better because you're looking at them. It says, what do we need to do different for Apple apps?
So actually building on the question that I said before, what I would do is go ahead and build many, many apps. Your apps that are doing well, I would say, build like 10 apps. One of them that's doing really, really well, take that one, nurture it. What you need to do is 2 things for Apple. You need to go ahead and have exclusive content to the app, and you need to have native feature integration into the app. So, I've seen some pictures that are very, very pixelated, that Apple's going to turn that down right away. You want to make sure that your pictures are very quality. Some of the content that you have in there is good. If it's an SMB, for example, get them to have an app-specific coupon that they're going to be able to feature, something that's not going to be in other places. Or if it's a niche site that you're writing, have something that you're rolling in there that you don't have anywhere on a website or they haven't seen before. And, on the other side of this, we're adding more and more features to be able to bring more native stuff into it. Your contact form, your direction information, your GPS coupons. We're working on QR coupons that we're going to release within the next probably week or 2, which are going to be fantastic, and people are going to love that. These are the things that you want to do for Apple. But, you got to, to step back, what you got to do is you really got to take your time and make your Apple apps quality, and you got to make them stand up. You're not going to be able to blast them as you do with the other stores. And, they're not going to be happy if they see a bunch of apps coming at you at the same time as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the reality is, and you guys have a different perspective of this than we do because we see the user base, is 90% of the user base is, they're barely reading our instructions. They're stumbling into our software. They're pushing a few buttons and they're looking for results. And for this 90%, we tell them don't even bother submitting your niche apps to Apple. It's not going to work. We say go ahead and submit just start there with Android. And even the other 10% who is advanced, we still say start with Android. After you find some success with Android and are able to get your feet on the ground, then go and set a strategy for going to Apple. Don't start submitting your niche apps to Apple. Your SMB apps, yes, with original content, et cetera, and it will go ahead and do fine there. Okay. The next question somebody's asking about is additional functionality. Michael, do you want to just talk a little bit about some of the features that are in our brains and on the boilerplate and in the programming labs right now that they can expect to see in the next few months?
Yeah, of course. I mean, first thing I want to tell you guys is, from the first week that we came in, and we've had a lot of really, really good user info. And, one of the reasons we've actually closed down SkyBuilder for sale is we want to make sure to focus on getting you guys on board, getting you comfortable, and getting the new features in with you before we go ahead and, allow other people. So one thing I mentioned is QR coupons. So that's something that we've built and we're actually testing on our staging servers right now. What that allows you to do is have a QR scanner within your app, and a business could go ahead and through our QR generator, go ahead and put a specific coupon in their store. So when somebody comes in, they can go ahead and scan it, get that item. Beyond that, what we're going to build is what I call a punch card, which is kind of like a Subway card where you buy 10 sandwiches and the 11th one is free. So that's the next one that we're going to add. We're also working on nag screens. That's going to be something interesting that when you get an app that's really, really successful, you go ahead and use an app screen to drive traffic into your other apps as well. A couple other things, Greg mentioned the breakout dashboard. We're also looking at adding photo upload functionality. So you go ahead and be able to send photos to a user. I'm sorry, not to a user, to an app owner. So let's say you go into a restaurant, you have a good meal, you take that picture of that meal and you send it into the app. And the app owner could choose to reward you, or it could just be a good experience for everybody else that comes in. And the other thing that we're working on is the breakout dashboard that Greg mentioned. So you could allow your customers to go ahead and manage all their notifications themselves. I mean, these are a couple of things that we have in the short term, guys. And then there's obviously, we're just getting started. So there's a lot of things that we have coming in the long term that we're going to add as well. But, to finish that, and, some people said, are we going to add functionality, or how can you influence functionality? Go ahead and please send them to me. Send us an email through support with your functionality suggestions. Now, I don't want you to expect that we'll be able to add that specific functionality the same week, but I do want you to understand that I go ahead and read every one of those. Carol, who manages our desks, sends me issues that maybe are a little bit too technical for her to deal with, and then secondly, any future suggestions that come in. And I go ahead and keep a list of all of those things. And if something bubbles up a few more times, we'll go ahead and build it into our queue, and we'll go ahead and even prioritize. Two examples of this that you've seen in the first week is that we've added the option to add, your local language into the call directions button. And then the other thing is that we've optimized the push notification system to make that a lot easier for you and also take away any user error on it. So send those to me. I want to see them. I do keep a nice big spreadsheet of those things, and I'll go ahead and write you back when we're a little bit closer. And I might even write you to help us test some of those features if they come on, if you're comfortable with doing that as well.
Okay, very, very, very cool. Did you also mention the image cropping with built in within SkyBuilder?
All right, I think I demoed that earlier, but I forgot to mention that. So, as I mentioned, a couple of people have had a hard time cutting up their images to the right side. So if my screen is on, I could go ahead and actually demo that again.
It's fine. It's fine. We don't need to demo it again. I just wanted to go and make clear because even as I guess I'm kind of like a semi-expert by now, it's always a major PETA for me to go and crop my images to the right size. So even for myself, I've been doing this for years. It's hard. So if you have a built-in image cropper, I think that's going to be really, really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Things is going to escape my head right now, but there's a lot of things that we have coming up. I mean, I want to let you guys know that we are here to build this into the best app building experience that it can be, and we're going to keep on adding features, and we're adding to our team to go ahead and even add more.
Okay. Next question. Now this is a pretty easy one. So it's only for $100. Michael, for $100, how to link a QR code into the app?
So I'm not sure if I understand that user's question correctly, but I will say
it's a very simple question. That's why it's confusing. But it's a quick question that a lot of people won't actually know how to do.
So I think what the user is saying is how do I set up my app so it downloads through a QR code? Is that what you think, Greg?
Yeah. So what they don't understand how the QR code works.
Ah, okay.
So what a QR code does is it generates a URL essentially, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it can be a picture or it could be a URL. So, okay, thank you for explaining that question to me. I'm happy to answer it. So what you could do, guys, you go ahead and actually, once you have your app in Google Play or the Apple Store, it will generate a unique URL for you that you can download that app through. What you could go ahead and do is you could take that URL, you essentially put it into the QR generator, and it'll give you an image. Then you could go ahead and print that image in different sizes, and you could give that to the business to put into their display. So they could put it in front of their desk, they could put it as a poster, whatever works well for them. And then whoever comes into the store, they could use the QR scanner on their phone to go ahead and look at that picture. And what they do is that will automatically link them to download the app. So it's a way for businesses to go ahead and get a lot of app downloads within the store. And what they could do is they could also incentivize, on the bottom of the poster or stand, they could go ahead and say that, you're going to be able to receive specials from us by downloading our app. So it's going to increase their downloads as well.
Okay, very, very, very cool. And the next question from Leanna, I think you already actually covered this, but let's just give the 30-second summary again. How to obtain professional and copyright-free images to build icon and splash screen icons.
Sure, I'll go through this quickly again. Guys, every image search out there has an advanced image option, advanced search option. You go to that advanced search option, you'll see an option to look at the copyright and filter by the right copyrights. Showed it to you on Flickr and on Google, and it is available on all other sources as well. Now, if you're building something that's a little bit better, if it's like you're one of 10 apps that you want to build a little bit more, you could do a couple of other things. You could hire somebody on Fiverr to build it for you. You could hire somebody on Odesk to build it for you, or if you want to spend a little bit more money and your app is really doing well, you go ahead on a place like 99 Design and build it for you. The good thing about those services is the first time it might be a little bit difficult for you to have a little trial and error to find a person that you're comfortable with. But what Greg and I do is once we find somebody that we're good with, it's very easy. I have the people that I go to for when I need a splash image. I send them a quick note. The amount that we have is already settled, and they will send me back my copy in a few days. So actually not in a few days, in a few hours a lot of times. And then the other last option is iStock Photo, that you can buy a photo for a few dollars.
Okay, very, 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 very cool stuff. Next question is, I think it's kind of obvious. I don't know if we need to go through it. Is how do we change the design or theme of the app? I mean, it's obviously on the last screen. You just go through the color picker, right?
I think we demoed some of these questions, so.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and skip that one. How do we get the preview build on my phone? Email it to yourself or use Dropbox. We already went through there.
Yeah, I know one thing I want to press on that is do not unzip anything. I think there might be some zipping programs, WinZip or something, that are automatically unzipping your APKs. If you unzip the file, it's not going to work. You want to send the full file unzipped. And sometimes if those programs are already set, when you press download with your left click, it might automatically do that. So right click to save as, it won't unzip, and you won't have a problem.
Okay, very cool. Multiple GPS coupons for one app's business, multiple locations, blah, 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 temporary, permanent.
So
what's the story on that?
Yeah, so another feature that I think I missed earlier that's coming. So as you guys saw, we had our default builder in the beginning, but we got a lot of feedback that, hey, I want more websites. I want more RSS links. And then beyond that, I want, to be able to add more of anything that I want. So what we did is we actually, listening to you guys, we've already rolled out the feature to add multiple websites and multiple RSS links into your app. And then we're now working to add additional feeds as well. So we also have images and RSS coming within probably the next 4 or 5 days.
Alejandro is asking a great question, and I'm kind of picking this off here because I think this is great. And let me answer this. He's asking, what's the best way to use GPS coupons at its best? I found that the best way to use GPS coupons is you actually point the app in SkyBuilder to an image file, and then you go ahead and dynamically update the image file when you want to change the coupon. Because right now, a limitation of the system, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Sabatini, is that your GPS coupon is essentially hard-coded into SkyBuilder. So instead of hard-coding text in there, what we recommend doing is hard-coding an image location, and then when you want to change the coupon, you simply just replace the image in. Is that would you agree that's the right way to do it as well?
That's exactly the way that I would do it. So when a business wants to change that coupon, they just go ahead and change that image, and it's automatically uploaded into the system.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's something, and we should probably go and include that on the instructions of the GPS coupon screen as well for the people that aren't able to go, and to go do there. Okay. Here's a question about file name, app screen rotation, and login security. Maybe you could take this one.
Sorry, Greg. Can you clarify what that question is?
Somebody's asking about the rotation screens. How are apps going to be dealing with what improvements do we have in terms of rotating?
Okay, so that's another thing that we we heard from you guys that on some devices that was causing issues. So that's actually another thing that we've gone ahead and fixed in the last week. So if you had that issue before, just go ahead and build a new version of your app, and there should not be any screen rotation issues anymore.
Okay. Very, very, very cool. Let me go ahead and see here. Somebody's asking. They're kind of torn between the thoughts between spending a lot of time, and I might answer this one, between spending a lot of time building an incredible engaging app or just churning one out really, really fast. What I recommend to do is don't spend a lot of time on your apps when you're getting started. Just churn them out. Do medium to low quality apps. Put them on the Android store and go and find the niches that are profitable, because you're going to churn out these apps and 1 in 10 is going to be a total home run. So then you find the one that's a total home run, and then you go back and you spend time building that and making it an engaging app with total there. So I recommend when you're getting started, just churn out apps. Don't worry about it. Just to find which niches are the winner. And when you find the winner, go back and spend a lot of time cultivating it. I mean, is that something you'd agree with as well?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. That's the way that I would do it too.
Okay. People are asking about non-Roman language support, because I think right now we're able to go change the call us direction tabs to whatever we want in there. Is that correct, or is that uploaded yet?
That is changed, and as I said, the international audience kind of hit us with a welcome surprise. So we're adding these features almost every week into the new support. So we have added the first level of support. Second level is going to be able to support all characters. I believe they're called UTF-8 characters. We're looking at it with the team right now. And then the third level is going to be able to add local news feeds into different areas as well. So that's the 3 steps that we're going towards full internationalization there.
Okay. So very, very cool. So right now, French, Italian, Spanish, Roman languages, and phase 2, Hebrew, Japanese, et cetera, correct?
Right.
Okay. Somebody's asking about contracts in local SMBs. They're probably not aware that we do actually have a contracts template section in our training, so go ahead and check that out, okay? Can we add other monetization sources? Yeah, through the RSS feeds and such, okay? Michael, there's one thing maybe we could add in the instructions area. We're able to go, you guys need to be aware that on the RSS feeds tab, you could add any RSS feed you want. And what this means practically is you could add affiliate feeds. So a really, really great way to go monetize your apps is to get an RSS affiliate feed and go ahead and stick it in there. So for example, you could get it, if you're like an affiliate of eBay or something, or Amazon, you could go ahead and get one of their feeds, stick it in your app, and go ahead and monetize it like that, okay? Let me go and see what else here. I think that's pretty much the extent of our pre-selected questions, Michael. Did I miss any important ones there? Or should we go on to the next and final phase?
There's just one more that I want to address. I think the question came from Tim, which was, is it better to pay for a program to test your app on Android devices or to buy a device? Tim, I would definitely recommend that you pick up a device. The service is good to get started, but if you're serious, it's good to have devices that you can check. And the ones that I would recommend, depending on your budget, are either the Nexus S, the Galaxy Nexus, or the Galaxy S3. The first 2, Google has defined basically as their native and pure Android experiences. So they're going to be the most clear all throughout. So now there is more than 1,000 Android devices out there. So there's a few that may have specific little issues. And what you want to do is you want to test on a device that is more similar to all of them. And those are the ones that would go on. You could look on eBay for really cheap deals on both the Nexus S and the Galaxy Nexus. The S3 is a little bit newer, so it's not going to be as cheap, but it's the right way to go.
Okay, very, very, very cool. Maybe we can put that somewhere in the training section or so.
Yeah.
By the way, Michael, what's our official update on when iPad support's going to be ready?
We're working on that. First, what we want to do, guys, is we want to go ahead and make sure that all the features that you need for your basic iPhone experience and all the things that you guys have asked for are very good and clear for us. And then adding iPad support is actually going to be a little bit easier for us. We'll go ahead and focus on that on phase 2. But you'll be able to actually go ahead and build iPad versions of all your apps that you already have. You're not going to need to build new apps. So that's a positive benefit there. So Greg, I have a couple of questions that I feel that I picked out from the list. I've been looking at them and that are kind of a little bit more representative that I want to go ahead and answer quickly, if you don't mind, for you to get us started. So one, I believe, came from John. So John was asking if he's allowed to link to somebody else's Twitter feed or blog. John, yes, you are. You're not claiming that information as your own. The RSS is built for that purpose, and that's not a problem to do. Another question I saw was, how can I get my images, my icon images, I believe this was from Sarah, to the exact right size, 114 by 114. Sarah, our system goes ahead and resizes images to their exact right size as you need them. So as long as you have the right dimensions in terms of aspect ratio, so icons are a perfect square, the system can go ahead and resize anything for you. It is better to use that original image, and then we're going to have the cropping added as well. So another one is, how do I delete old apps? There's a red delete button. Just go ahead and press that. I think that's going to be easy. And another one that I picked out so far that I want to answer is, how can you include rounded edges in the new cropping tool? So Apple actually goes ahead and rounds the edges of your apps or of your icons for you. So if you're looking for support in terms of the Android side, what we could either do is we could go ahead and think about building a separate section so you could upload a separate icon into that. I am looking into that as well. Okay, I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, very, very, very cool. Okay, so that's the end of our first general training and our first round of pre-selected questions. Now, throughout this, I've seen hundreds of questions going ahead and typed in here, not of all which we'd be able to answer. Okay, what I'd like you guys all to do right now is I'd like you to go ahead and log into our new forum. Okay, now when you go to our forum, you're probably gonna have to log into the forum separately. I don't want you to go make a new account at the forum. What I want you to do is you can use actually your existing username and your existing password. Let me go ahead and I'll go take over the screen, Michael, and
sure,
go ahead and go and screen share this, okay? Okay, so can you guys? Yeah, so it's the same username as password same username as password as your regular login. So you don't need to create a new forum account. So what I want you guys to all do right now is I want you to go to skybuilder.net/members/discuss. Okay. So just DISCUSS, and the link is actually in your members area right now. So if you go to the bottom of your members area, you see that little SkyBuilder's members forum. Okay. Do you guys go ahead and see that right there? Just make sure that you all can go ahead and get into our forum. Yeah. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to start using the forum, guys. We do have a little bit of a forum rules. Some people think I'm a communist or something, but my last forum had over 100,000 posts and was very, very helpful. And when you run something that has thousands of crazy wild users on it, you do got to go and set your boundaries. So we do have our boundaries on our forum, and the reason of these boundaries is to ultimately provide you with a great experience. Okay, so I need you to go to our forum, go and read the rules, and all of your questions. I need each one of you to go ask a question, and then I need each one of you to go answer a question. And there's no such thing as a stupid question, because if you're thinking it, then the reality is someone else is thinking it. And Gary says, Greg, you're not a communist, you're a success dictator. Yes, I am. Yes, I am a success dictator. Okay, I dictate. I am a dictator because I want you to be successful. That's my ultimate goal. And sometimes we do have stringent rules that we do need to follow. For the class to go ahead and be successful. So remember, you use your same username and login uh, as your thing. So is everybody here into the forum now? Yes, yes. Okay. Um, Everybody should be in the forum. If you're looking in your members area and it said something like forum access expired, just ignore that, please. Thank you. Just go try to log into the forum. Okay. And if for some reason you can't log in with your same username and okay, somebody's saying which forum. Okay. Welcome to the call, Kevin. Okay. Okay. Go to our members page and click SkyBuilder members forum. Okay. Now, if for some reason you can't, if for some reason you're not logged in, just it should auto log you in. If you're not auto logged in, log in with your existing username and password. And if that doesn't work, I don't know, try to make a new account or contact your support desk or something. Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming that most of you guys are at the forum. What I want you to do is, we need help. It's pretty boring right now. We don't really have any posts. What I want you guys to do is, all of your questions, I want you to read the rules first, and then all of your questions, I want you to start posting them. Okay? Just start posting them, and then if you have any answers for other people's questions, go ahead and do that, because at our support desk, the reality is 80% of the questions we're answering are the same questions over and over again. So we figured, why not let you guys help each other and really go and create a community. Okay. And some people are saying, are we in need of moderators or something? Yeah, we will be, but let's just see how the natural flow progresses. What we'll probably do is, the people who are really helpful and hanging out and kind of naturally gravitate towards a moderator's role, whether they have the green or not, we'll probably approach them. So if you do want to go be a moderator first, make yourself stand out by being helpful, and then we can go ahead and move from there. Okay. So that being said, is everybody here in agreement? Read the rules, post some questions to the forum, and hopefully we'll go ahead and get the answers there. And that, okay? So I guess the next question is, and anybody who's having trouble getting into the forum, well, just click that link, SkyBuilder members forum, and if you can't get into the forum, just register for a new account on the forum, okay? Just click register, and we'll just see if that works. Okay. I'm not going to be able to debug your forum login issues live on the webinar, guys. So you can also go ahead and submit a ticket to our support desk. Okay. So the forum's really So that's my answer there. Okay. I can't debug everybody's individual issues. I don't know what could have happened. Okay. Auto login should work for most of you. Okay. So in terms of the forum, we go through the rules, but the general rules is don't bash us. So don't say like Greg sucks or SkyBuilder sucks. That's just kind of a given. Don't put affiliate links in, and don't talk about possible competing products. Just use your common sense. Okay, that's pretty much there. Okay. Rebecca's got a great question. She's asking, why are cloud and local separate parts of the forum? Well, cloud is generally for niche apps, and local is generally for local business apps. So what I'm imagining is, in the local business category, what's going to happen is people are going to discuss, how to sell to local businesses, strategies and tips. and in like the cloud section of the forum, people are going to be discussing, how to go and monetize some of your apps. Okay. So that being said, I guess my question is all the questions that you guys went and typed earlier, do you think we could go ahead and put those into the forum and we can try to answer them through there? And then maybe, if by the next training that you haven't got an adequate answer, we can answer them again? Do you think that's a better idea than me trying to like pick off 100 questions per second? And we can go get more thorough questions? Yeah? So, okay. So is everybody satisfied, I guess? We have one person that's not satisfied. Okay. Who's not satisfied? Okay. I did see one question from Douglas here that I do want to actually go ahead and demonstrate live on the call, because this is a question that people can be a little bit confused about. So let's just go ahead and Phil says it's the worst webinar he's ever attended. Thank you, Phil. I definitely appreciate your feedback because it's only one-way communication. Thank you, Phil. I appreciate your feedback. Okay, when we have almost 400 people on a webinar, it's impossible to go ahead and answer all of your questions, but we do try, Phil. So everybody give Phil a big round of applause. So. Thank you, Phil. Okay. Okay. So one thing I do want to go and do is demonstrate SkyBuilder Cloud. I want to go ahead and demonstrate how to do an RSS feed, okay? Because this is a very, very important question, okay? Do we have... Okay, so this is what an RSS feed looks like here. This is an older version. It says blog feeds. What you're going to do is, like for Amazon, for example, you're going to get the code for the Amazon RSS feed, and you're just going to go paste it in here with your affiliate URL at the bottom. So in this case, it'd be !tag = affiliate URL. And what it's going to be doing is it's going to be showing within the app your actual Amazon RSS feed with your affiliate link already pre-embedded in it, okay? And so when somebody goes to Amazon and goes ahead and buys this, what's actually going to go ahead and happen? What's actually going to go ahead and happen is you're going to go ahead and get a commission with anybody goes ahead and buys this. So we just have we just have to go ahead and do it like that, okay? So I hope that goes and makes sense like that, okay? What I'd like to go do right now is go ahead to all of your questions, all of your unanswered questions, all of your love, your hates, your complaints. I hate Greg. I love Greg. Michael Sabatini is the best. Actually, you're not allowed to say you hate Greg on the forum, but anyways, you can try. We'll see what happens. Okay. Go ahead and post in our forum. I'm gonna be checking our forum right now. Sabatini is as well. You'll get other people answering you, and we'll see how it sorts out, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll be emailing you. We'll be emailing you next week with the next training. We're gonna go with the forum for a few days and see how that flushes out. And then I do have some very, very specific training that I need to go and give you guys that can't be done just through a forum. 2 specific modules that I need to go ahead and over is an advanced monetization module, and I also need to go ahead and go over local business advanced selling. So this will be like Greg's secrets of closing the sale. So these are going to be 2 very, very specific webinars that I'm going to be doing. These aren't going to be random pot shot question webinars, but these are going to be on two very, very specific topics. But I'm going to give the forum a few days, talk about it, discuss it, talk about what we want to do next. Maybe somebody open up a thread in general about which topic, whether you'd rather do local business selling next or you want to do advanced monetization. And we'll go ahead and schedule for that, okay? Somebody's saying, how do you post on the forum? Okay, that's a worthy question. Okay, so you go to your little category here. Wow, you guys got a lot of posts already. We'll get to them, and then you just go ahead and do post a new topic, and you just type it in, and then you type it in there. Okay. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start checking the forum and answering questions that I had. And guys, this isn't a one-way forum. This is a two-way. This is a two-way forum. So if you guys know the answers to somebody's question, feel free to pipe in and answer it. It helps us out. It helps everybody else out. Okay. Okay. So thank you very much, guys. Have yourself a good day. Michael Sabatini, is there anything else you'd like to say before we shut this debate
Greg,
down?
guys, I'm actually reading through all your questions. So I want to see a couple of things that I might have been a little bit confusing and too fast on my walkthrough that I want to clarify. I think I talked about adding a new version of an app and uploading that, and there were some questions about that. What I was saying is not possible to do is you need to have the first version uploaded into the system before you go ahead and upload a second version into the system. So there's not a problem uploading the second version, but you cannot go ahead and build a version 1 and then build a version 2 and then start with version 2. So in that scenario, you would need to create a new app. So if you have specific questions on it and you're getting confused, you go ahead and put it in the forum. I'll try to help as well. But sorry if I went through that a little bit quickly. Version 1, version 2, version 3, they should work as long as you go ahead and put them in order. But you can't go ahead and upload an older version after a newer version or start with version 2.
Cool. Very, very, very cool. And Ashley just told us that the BB code URL is not working. Ashley, this is for forum geeks. Anybody who's not a forum geek, just don't worry about this. There's a few configuration settings that we're trying to get right on the forum. So if you're a total forum geek and you're wondering why things other than regular post and reply isn't working, we'll get it tweaked up within the day. Okay. And if there are any PHP BB gods in here, send me a message. We actually could use your help with some advanced configurations. Yeah. Okay. That being said, let's go ahead and shut this baby down, and we'll continue this discussion on the forum. And we'll go and announce very shortly whether we're going to do the local apps, secrets of closing the sale webinar, or the advanced monetization one next. Okay. Thank you guys very much. Okay. Bye-bye.